Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are two of the amazing authors of a new book that we have coming out. Actually, came out today. I love it. This book is called Mentorship Mastery, a holistic guide for virtuous leaders. I'm going to introduce these authors to you in just a minute, but a huge shout out first goes to Julie Campbell, who is the lead author of this amazing collaboration. Julie, we wouldn't be here without you. You had a huge vision and mission for bringing this stellar group of experts together to talk about mentorship. This book is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal gift to the world. So thank you for leading it. And I have some pretty cool people in my Zoom room today. Let me tell you about them. Kristen Dombrowski is the CEO of Kristen Dombrowski LLC, where leadership meets mindfulness for real lasting change. And I've got Kristen Goodrich in the Zoom room, known as KG. She's the director of women's ministry at Officers Christian Fellowship. Ladies, welcome. I'm excited to talk about this subject. Kristen Dombrowski, tell us about the why, a little bit of the why behind your chapter.
Yeah, thanks, Laura. So my chapter is chapter 6, which is knowing yourself, growing others. And this is really where self-awareness and emotional intelligence can really help how we shape things. And the reason that I wrote this chapter is because I really truly believe that self-awareness is the foundation of really supporting yourself and supporting others. If we don't really understand our emotions or our thoughts or our values, our patterns, then they can unintentionally get in the way of how we're helping others, especially when we're mentoring. So,
So we were talking before we started the recording a little bit about the IQ, EQ, all the Qs. And I was just coming back to emotional intelligence for a second. And I want you to help us out with this is an important thing to be interested in, I think. Tell me more about why.
yeah, because emotional intelligence is all about relationships and relationshiping can be hard. They call it a soft skill, but it's really it's so important. And the first composite, which is the one I focus on, is self-perception. It's all about knowing thyself. And if, again, how do I like myself? What are my emotions? What am I striving? And how is that in alignment? But then that helps you to relate to others. Once you understand yourself, then the EQ is all about these emotional behaviors that we have with others and how we can balance that so that there's room for ourselves and others.
I feel like this is a lifelong journey knowing myself. Like you either dedicate yourself to this self inquiry or you don't. And I know for me, I've gotten tired sometimes. It's like, oh, okay, what else do I need to know about myself to like be the best person I can be? Is there anything else you want to tell everyone about that? Like just sort of encouragement for the journey?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a lifelong journey, as you said. And this is where I think it's more of a practice and it's more of a journey than it is, to your point, like this outcome. And I think what you experience and many of us experience is growth isn't always like happy, happy, joy, joy. There's periods of time where we learn things about ourselves and we have to contain for a minute in order to integrate it into our lives. If we don't have those places of pausing, to integrate what we're learning, then it can just feel as overwhelming as, as if we hadn't done the journey and we don't know why we're stuck. So we
Yeah.
have to pause.
Um, I love that we're kicking this interview off on this particular topic, these golden nuggets that the authors will drop today might even change perspective enough to change your life. Like, this is big potato stuff, you guys. They're big topics. We could be here for hours and hours on this one alone. Like, it's the best. I love these juicy topics. Kristen, thank you for saying yes to this project, and thanks for being here to share today.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
So, KG, tell us a little bit about your why behind the chapter you wrote.
Yes, so my chapter is chapter 7, right after Kristen's, and it is that my age and stage are my superpower and overcoming imposter syndrome. So right behind, I think it's well designed that my chapter follows Kristen's chapter, because there's a sense of imposter syndrome as we go delve into things like EQ, for instance. There are 24 authors in this book, and probably all 24 of us have had some measure of imposter syndrome at some point. And frankly, I had one even being a part of this project, because by definition, I feel like I could list and itemize all the reasons I shouldn't be considering myself an expert or much less a mentor. So to write the chapter for me was a cathartic experience for me to remind myself of some foundational truths about myself, that my age and my stage indeed are my superpower, because otherwise I might start to my life experience to date. I might discount my quote lack of credentials, my inexperience, my I'm not arrived in the EQ world, for instance, or any number of reasons. I might find a really good reason to talk myself out of the opportunity to mentor. The thing is, folks that are interested in the mentorship journey are not looking for the perfect mentor, or if they are, they're not going to find them anyway. So I might as well step into that gap and offer what I can. While limited, I still have an expansive experience that might be of benefit to the next generation. So that's one of my whys. I wrote it partly for myself as much as for anybody else.
I love the topic of imposter syndrome, and often tell my entire Brave Healer community that they need to get over it because
Yeah.
they've got world changing work to do in the world. And I love how you're framing this with my age and my stage. Oh, that's such a superpower. Like, yes, with an exclamation point to that. And that right there is why you're not an imposter. Another thing there is, like, imposters don't even think about imposters. So,
True
right?
imposters, right? True
Yeah,
fakers. Yeah, yeah,
exactly. So, okay, so
yeah.
somebody's in kind of their mind about this, let's say, and the doubt and the fear come in, and it's hard some days to kind of move through that. How would you help somebody slide out of that and point their face toward the sun a little bit?
That's a great question. I love the idea that, again, by age and stage, that means we have a breadth of experience. I mean, nobody's coming to be a mentor as an infant. So already at 18, you've had 18 years of life experience. So even in the youngest age or youngest stage, a newbie at the community that you're working within, or a student in the educational development process, whatever that is, you still have someone younger than you, earlier in a stage of life than you are. So the reminder is, have you learned anything? Yes. And have you had successes? Yes. And have you had failures? Yes. Well, if you've had experience and you've had a failure and you've had a success, then boom, by definition, you have something that you've already learned. There's some nugget in either the success or the failure or the process. Any one of those three components gives you an opportunity to learn for yourself and then share that with the next generation behind you. And the next generation might actually be older than you because they may be laterally transferring into your community or something else. Nonetheless, your life, age, and stage will give you that opportunity to share either your success or failure or your insight that you've developed through the process of walking through that journey yourself. So it sounds really big, but in reality, it really comes down to really small nuggets. My most exciting times are when I see somebody do one little where they say, okay, I will be the first one to answer the question at the roundtable discussion. And that's really being brave for them. And I think, yay, you actually answered first. And then the next time you answer first, you actually answered 3 sentences instead of like a quick phrase to be done and move on. I mean, those small victories like that, those are the life-changing moments of the journey that can just, to your point early, just a minute ago, they can be unfolding a transformational life journey moment. We don't even know when those small moments happen, but we get to look back and go, ah, it was that small moment, that small moment, and that small moment all put together because somebody took a moment to make me aware, point something out, share their experience, and therefore I am more equipped and I'm better off as a person to contribute to the journey I'm on for myself and the community and frankly the world.
Yeah, powerful. Um, Kristen, thank you also for saying yes to this, for bringing your expertise into this beautiful book. I've got a thank you for both of you. And while I continue to pour the gratitude on, I'm going to share this beautiful book cover here for a minute. You gals said yes to this, and you took on my challenge of putting your vulnerable, real, awesome story in this book. Thank you both for doing that. And then you step up as the master teachers you are with a strategy for the reader to give them a practical experience with something that you know and love in terms of tools and strategies and practices, and you both did that so brilliantly. The book is full of these. And it's, again, I'm going to repeat myself. This is a gift to the world, a toolkit of all of these strategies. It's amazing. Um, KG, I'm going to stick with you for a minute. What's your favorite part about being a mentor?
Ah, of learning from my mentees. That's one of my favorites. But I think it's really my favorite aspect really is that relational give and take that happens. And I love the opportunity to help myself distill down things of virtue and value in my life. And it's great to have a place to be able to share those. Um, in the mentoring journey, though, I'm not designed, my goal is not, or my purpose is not to share every nugget I've ever learned. It is to really take a moment and figure out what might be the most meaningful, most helpful tidbit that I could share with this mentee as they do the great sharing, greater amount of self-reflection. And so when I am able to drop that right in the right spot, that is such a sweet spot for me as a mentor. So that's what keeps me going with mentorship is the opportunity for my own self-reflection and then be able to drop that nugget in right there in a really solid place for that mentee, and then to get to champion them. I just love hearing that success story down the road. For instance, as I was sharing about this book, a gal, a military wife, Avery, from years ago at a different, living in a different state, we're in a current installation. She wrote that I had done that for her, and that she had then, in the ensuing decade plus, had gone on to take those lessons, and then she had been doing that to another group of women who were now doing it to another group of women. So both the small scale of getting that opportunity to drop something in, watch the change happen, and then get to watch the long-term effects. That's maybe the most exciting part for me of mentoring.
Yeah, my gosh, that ripple. Awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm coming to you, Kristen Dombrowski, with the same question. So I'm sure you're nodding your head to everything that KG said. What else? What's your favorite part of this?
Yeah, I feel like she's taking it right out of my mouth.
Mhm.
The one thing I could add to everything that KG just said is I love seeing people increase their confidence. On the EQ side, it's called self-regard, but as I work with them, people will come to me and, especially maybe more introverted leaders and be, how do I be an extrovert? And I said, no, we're going to double down on your introversion. That's your gift. That's your strength. And to just see them, increase that confidence and to even that point decrease the imposter syndrome or the rules in which they've been conditioned to lead by, mentor by, or whatever, and drop them and just find their own voice. And it grows and it gets bigger. And I'm constantly reflecting, do you remember where we were 3 months ago? Do you remember where we were 6 months ago? Like, just so they can see their progress. So championing, challenging, and just seeing them, I don't know, unlock that piece. It's like I can put my head down on my pillow at night. It's amazing.
I love that. I love listening to both of you about that. Mentorship is so rewarding, and it is definitely a two-way street of helping each other, right, on this life path. I love it. So, okay, so Kristen Dombrowski, I'm gonna stick with you, and we're gonna for both of you, we're going to get into this strategy piece. See, the second part of your chapters is where we get to learn something as the reader. And these things, these somethings come from your whole dedication to this topic. And they're quite amazing, honestly. What's the most important thing you want us to know about cultivating that self awareness?
Mm. To step it back a little bit too, one of the reasons I wrote this chapter was growth is such a huge value of mine. And when I wanted to grow, I hired someone and I thought it was going to be like doing reps at the gym, like, just fix me, grow me, kind of a thing. And it was just not that energy at all. It was this energy of showing me what I could already see about myself, walking with me and mapping. And as I saw more, it got bigger and it got bigger. And so I think the biggest thing that I have come to appreciate about self-awareness is it's the growth is not about fixing, right? There's nothing that you need to fix about yourself or others. It's really just allowing the space for you to know what it is that is important to you. And in this moment, what's true in this moment, what your emotions are, what your thoughts are. Um, and then taking that self-awareness and having intentional action of who you want to become and where you want to go, but it's not about fixing. I think that was one of my biggest things. It's a journey of unfolding who you are.
This topic turned me on. I mean, I feel like it's a foundation for almost everything good that you want for your life is this practice of awareness, full body, full moment as much as possible. And um yeah, you guys again, you may need to like pause the recording, rewind, listen to something again, take some notes, right? These are the places where you might realize something big about yourself. So, KG, we're going to wrap this up with yours. What's the most important thing you want people to know about overcoming that imposter syndrome?
Well, the Seven Leadership Group uses the LEATER plus courage acronym, and LEATER standing for love, integrity, truth, excellence, and relationship. And those virtues are really key to the overall approach from the Seven Leadership SLG. Those are all can be thorny. They are all aspirationally wonderful, but there's a measure of courage involved in making that effort. So taking the time, as Kristen was describing, to have some self-awareness, to invite somebody into your life, to be able to shine a light, perhaps in something a little uncomfortable, or to challenge you for that next step, that takes some courage. So our desire collectively, and mine personally, would be for you to take a deep breath of courage and step into these virtues of love, integrity, truth, excellence, and relationship. I think that's the place that counters all those negative voices that are included in that imposter syndrome. Because if I need to substitute something to shut down that imposter syndrome voice, and to be able to put in its place and champion and work after the leader virtues. I think that's a great place for our audience, or even for myself again, once again, to articles with some really good short catchphrase ideas to be able to take those further for my next step.
I love it. That's a beautiful way to wrap up, especially when we get to talk about love, because it's the universal energy of everything good. Kristen Goodrich, Kristen Dombrowski, thank you both so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone. You guys, if you can't already tell, this is way more than a book. This is a generous community of experts on this topic. So I have both of our authors hooked up down below with their websites and links. Go explore what they're up to. It's a lot and it's amazing. And of course, we want you to hop over to Amazon and to grab your copy of Mentorship Mastery today. The link is below for that as well. And lastly, today, everyone, remember your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.